Okay, real talk for a second. You ever feel like you're just the king or queen of putting things off? Like, I know I should be doing this, but later. Later, right?
Oh, yeah. We've all been there.
Yeah. So that's exactly what we're diving into today, this whole procrastination thing. And we've got this awesome article called Why We Procrastinate and How to Overcome It.
And it's really interesting because it kind of reframes the whole thing. It's not just about being lazy.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, is it really laziness or is there more to it?
It's more about like avoiding discomfort. It's like our brains just hit the nope button on anything that feels icky.
Interesting. Okay, so not laziness, more like discomfort avoidance. But what kind of discomfort are we even talking about here? I mean, sure, nobody loves like doing their taxes or cleaning the bathroom, but is it just that, or is it something deeper?
It goes way deeper. The article calls them these procrastination monsters, like these sneaky psychological triggers that really kind of trip us up. And honestly, some of them are not what you'd expect. Like, take fear of failure.
Oh, fear of failure.
Yeah. You might think, oh, that's for like newbies,
Mm,
right? People who haven't really proven themselves yet.
right.
But this article is saying even like the big shots,
Yeah.
CEOs,
Yeah.
artists, they can get totally tripped up by fear of failure.
So it's not about like, are you actually competent or not? It's this fear.
Exactly. And they even share this story about like a super successful entrepreneur who was terrified to launch this new product line because they were so scared he would just tank.
Wow.
They'd already done all this amazing stuff, but that fear was still there.
It's like that feeling in high school, right? About to give a presentation and your palms are sweating. Like that never really goes away.
Totally. It's totally like that.
But then there's another one, like, I know I struggle with this one. It's that perfectionism. And it's not even just wanting to do things well. It's this terror of not being perfect.
Yeah. And the article, it nails this so well. You're stuck in this loop of planning and refining,
Yeah.
and you never actually even start because, like, what if it's not perfect?
Oh, that's me. Yeah, if it can't be perfect, why even bother? Right. But then there's that other feeling. It's not even about perfection. It's just the sheer overwhelm of a task, right? It's like my brain just sees this giant to-do list and just shuts down.
Yeah, and there's like your brain trying to protect itself. It's like, whoa, too much. Emergency avoidance mode activated.
Yeah.
But this is where the article gets really interesting. They talk about breaking things down. And it's not just about making a list. It's like tricking your brain into thinking it can handle things.
Right.
So it's not write a novel. It's write one scene today.
Oh, I like that.
And suddenly it feels doable.
Totally. It's like, how do you eat an elephant
Yeah.
one bite at a time?
Exactly.
But then what about those tasks that are just straight up boring? There's no way to break it down to make it fun, right? Like filing. Ugh, filing.
Filing, yeah.
Nobody likes filing.
So this is where the article gets kind of deep. They're talking about connecting even the boring stuff to your values.
Oh, interesting.
So maybe filing isn't a thrill a minute, but it's part of like running your business, which gives you freedom and creativity.
Right.
Or maybe it's about being responsible and organized, which matters to you.
Okay. Yeah. It's finding the why, even in the boring stuff.
Yeah.
But there's one more I think we got to talk about. I think everyone listening has felt this one.
You're talking about decision paralysis.
Yes. That's it. Too many choices.
Oh my gosh, yes. We've got a million streaming services, what to eat, where to go on vacation, even just toothpaste.
Yeah.
So many choices.
It's exhausting.
And what's crazy is that actually leads to more procrastination.
Oh, really?
It's like you're trying to find the perfect decision, and then you end up making no decision at all.
Stuck in analysis paralysis.
Click.
Just scrolling and scrolling.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling these little procrastination monsters, they're not so harmless, are they? What's the real cost of just letting them run wild?
Yeah, that's what we'll get into next. It's not just about like a messy desk or a missed deadline. It really impacts like your well-being, how you feel about yourself, even what you're able to achieve in life.
Okay, that's kind of scary. I'm ready to talk about that. Let's dive into that. Okay, so we've met all these procrastination monsters, like these sneaky little psychological things that make us avoid stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're not just messing with our to-do lists, right? Like it goes deeper than that.
Oh, absolutely. That's what this article really gets into. It goes beyond, oh, I didn't get that thing done,
Huh?
and into like the real cost of procrastination.
Right.
And the first one is no surprise. Stress.
Oh, yeah. I mean, think about it. You got all these deadlines, that feeling of like unfinished stuff hanging over you.
Ugh, yeah. That's stressful.
Totally. And then it gets even more interesting. The article talks about how chronic stress can mess with your brain.
Really?
Yeah. Like you're stressed about not doing the thing, and then your brain is actually less able to handle it.
Oh, no. So it's like a
Oh,
double
yeah.
whammy. Procrastination makes you stress, and then the stress makes you even worse at dealing with it.
Yeah.
It's this awful cycle. And speaking of cycles, let's talk about self-esteem.
Yeah. Self-esteem.
Procrastination can really tank your self-esteem.
Right. Because it's not just about the task itself, it's the story we tell ourselves about it, right? Like,
Wow.
I'm so undisciplined, or I'm just lazy.
Exactly. And that just makes the cycle worse.
Right.
You put things off, then you feel bad about yourself, then you have even less motivation to actually do stuff, and then you just procrastinate more.
It's a downward spiral.
It really is. So we've got stress, we've got self-esteem taking a hit. What's the third one the article talks about?
Let's see. What was the third one?
Missed opportunities.
Oh, yeah. Missed
And
opportunity.
this is where it gets really personal. Like, what are you putting off that could actually bring you joy or success? Could be anything. Learning a new skill, starting that side hustle.
Right.
Maybe you want to write a book. Have you been putting that off?
Or even just like a difficult conversation you need to have, but you keep avoiding it.
Yeah, it's like procrastination keeps us stuck, keeps us from our full potential.
Yeah, it's like we're getting in our own way, letting these monsters win.
Totally.
Yeah.
But here's the good news. This article actually gives us a plan to fight back.
Oh, good. Okay, so we've talked about the problems. Now let's get to the solutions. What do we do?
Well, remember how our brains kind of freak out at the thought of big, overwhelming tasks?
Mm-hmm.
The article really emphasizes breaking things down. And I
Okay.
mean like really breaking them down, like tiny, tiny steps.
Okay, so instead of like clean the whole house, it's unload the dishwasher.
Yeah. Or spend 15 minutes decluttering.
Yeah, like baby steps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they actually talk about how this works, like in your brain.
Oh, wow.
By breaking it down, you're tricking your brain into thinking it's not a big deal.
Right.
So you're less likely to resist.
So it's not just time management, it's like a mind hack.
Exactly. It's a
Yeah.
mind hack. And along with that, they talk about setting realistic goals. It's not about lowering your standards. It's about making it doable.
Yeah, because sometimes we set ourselves up for failure with these huge goals. Right?
Yeah, like I'm going to work out for an hour every day starting tomorrow. And then life happens, you miss a day, and you feel like a failure. And then you just quit.
Yeah, it's all or nothing thinking, which usually leads to nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what about those deeper fears? The perfectionism, the fear of failure. What do we do about those?
Yeah, that's the tough stuff.
Well, here's where the article gets really interesting. It talks about facing those fears, like really being honest with yourself about what's holding you back.
So instead of avoiding the task, you kind of lean into the discomfort of the fear.
Yeah, in a way. Because once you know what you're actually afraid of, you can start to challenge it.
Oh, that's interesting. So like maybe failure isn't actually the end of the world. Maybe it's a chance to learn.
Exactly. Or maybe criticism can actually help you grow.
It's about changing how we think about those feelings.
Totally. And the article goes on to give some practical tips for creating the right environment,
Oh, like what kind of tips?
like minimizing distractions, having a dedicated workspace,
Okay, yeah.
even just putting your phone on silent.
Yeah, just remove the temptation. Make it easier on yourself.
Exactly. And speaking of removing temptation, they also talk about time management techniques.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Specifically, they mention this thing called the Pomodoro technique.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. Isn't that where you work in like 25-minute chunks?
Yeah, 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off. And the key is to have some kind of structure.
Right. Because nobody can just focus for hours straight.
Right.
Right.
We all need breaks. And speaking of breaks, they also talk about the importance of rewards.
Oh, rewards. I like rewards.
Yeah, it's about celebrating the small wins.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be anything big. Your favorite snack, a walk outside, even just 5 minutes of scrolling on your phone guilt-free.
Okay. Yeah, whatever makes you happy. Just little things to reinforce those good habits. But, they talk about one more strategy that I think is really, really important.
You'd have a self-compassion.
Yes, self-compassion. Because, let's be real, we all mess up sometimes.
Oh, we do.
We're going to procrastinate. It's about being kind to ourselves.
Yeah, don't beat yourself up.
Exactly, because that just makes the whole thing worse, right?
Totally. And the article really emphasizes that, changing how we think about procrastination, seeing it as a journey, not this battle you either win or lose.
Yeah, progress, not perfection.
Exactly. But, this whole conversation's got me thinking. The article focuses on individual stuff, but what about society?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Could it be that the culture we live in actually contributes to procrastination?
We've been talking about all this stuff we can do personally to, like, handle procrastination, but I feel like there's this whole other side to it. Like, maybe it's not just us, right?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe society kind of pushes us towards procrastinating.
I think that's a really good point. I mean, think about it. We're constantly getting these messages about being productive and hustling all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you always got to be on.
Yeah. It's like you're not allowed to rest. And then
Right.
when we do need a break, when we do procrastinate, we feel guilty about it.
Exactly. It's like you're failing somehow.
Which makes you want to procrastinate even more. It's a vicious cycle.
It really is.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not all about willpower or like having the perfect time management system. Maybe we need to look at the bigger picture, you know?
Yeah.
Like what's creating this pressure to be go, go, go all the time?
It's like even if we fight off all our own personal procrastination monsters, there's these bigger societal monsters out there.
Totally. And just being aware of those pressures can make a huge difference.
Well, how so?
Well, it can help us be kinder to ourselves when we do struggle with procrastination.
Oh, right. Because it's not always just our fault.
Exactly. It's like the system is kind of rigged in a way.
Yeah, you're not just a lazy person. Maybe the whole system is pushing you towards procrastination.
Right. But that doesn't mean we just give up.
Right, of course not.
We can still work on those personal strategies, those
Yeah.
tools to manage our time and deal with those internal roadblocks.
So it's about finding that balance.
Exactly. Owning our own choices, but also recognizing that there are these bigger things at play.
Okay, so as we wrap up this whole deep dive into procrastination, what are some of the big takeaways for you?
Well, for me, it's about remembering to be kind to ourselves.
Oh, yeah, self-compassion.
Exactly. It's so easy to beat ourselves up when we procrastinate, but it's a journey, not a destination.
Right. Progress, not perfection.
Exactly. And I also think it's so powerful to connect even the most boring tasks to your values.
Yeah, like find the meaning in the mundane stuff.
Exactly.
Well, those are some great insights. And hey, if anyone listening has figured out the secret to never procrastinating again, please tell us.
Yeah, let us know your magic formula.
But until then, good luck tackling those to-do lists.
You got this.
And remember, you're not alone in this. We're all in it together. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of procrastination.
Thanks for listening.
We'll catch you next time.